We're live.
What up, Leaguers? Welcome to the Spectacular Spoiler League. I'm the Pandan Superman, the mayor of Hype City, HazyRome, and as always, I'm joined by the God of Night, the Prime Minister of Post-Production, DeepBoyce. And today we're back with DC TV Weekly One-Shot. We're talking about the Arrowverse and Black Lightning, since everybody wants to talk about how Black Lightning is not in the Arrowverse, for now at least. We're doing our top 5 power rankings, everybody. We're doing our top 3 bum asses, and we're doing our one that's gotta go. The one's gotta go for the week. Which show has simply gotta go? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 2018. It's our first live stream, 2018 DeepBoyce. Welcome to everybody. Yeah, I missed you guys. I missed everybody. If you're watching this as a video, missed y'all too. DeepBoyce, Arrowverse is back, man. Black Lightning has debuted. Yep. Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl sharing the time slot. It's a crazy time when we live it, man.
Indeed. Legends of Tomorrow. They got the hand in the face. Like, you gotta wait. Yeah. We got
they got the boot. That's boot.
They got the boot. They got the boot. They'll be coming back later on at some point. And like you said, It's been a while. I forgot how long these breaks are. I don't know if it's always been this long, but it felt like it was a little extra long from 2017
because we missed the Leaguers, man.
That's true.
That's why.
That's true.
That's why, man. That's true. But listen, it's time to get into the top 5, baby. We got to get into the top 5 power rankings this week. DeepBoyce, start us off with numero 5 for this week for you.
Number 5 on my power rankings this is probably the first and only time. Well, I want to say only time because maybe he'll be on this list again for the same reason, and that's Supergirl's Jimmy Olsen, because he's holding it down. Holding it down. You know, we usually crack jokes on Jimmy Olsen and his J. Crew V-necks. But listen, man. Holding it down with Lena Luthor.
I'm not going to lie. I'm jealous, Jimmy Olsen. Lena Luthor is a national treasure, my man. Katie McGrath, the actress who plays, is a national treasure, my man. She's a beautiful woman. Jimmy Olsen, you better take care of that. All right? Or I'm coming to National City to find you. Take back this wonderful woman.
It might change because if this keeps going on, I mean, there's developing something here between the two of them. We might start hating. We might go back to the hating.
Oh no, it's gonna listen. We congratulate, okay?
Yes.
But we're not above the hate. All right, it will happen. Okay, because Jimmy Olsen will be Jimmy Olsen, and then we'll have to call him a bum ass. All right. But for now,
all it takes is more women tripping up on this guy, and he's back on the top 3 bum asses because he got all these women left and right tripping up over Jimmy Olsen. I'm like, some people made a fuss that this Jimmy Olsen is different, that he's black or whatever, but this is not even the problem with this Jimmy Olsen. This is not Jimmy Olsen is like a bumbling. He's not bumbling, but he's like Leave It to Beaver. He's like Beaver Cleaver. You know what I mean? he doesn't have women coming after him like this, all right?
Oh, he had freaking you know. He had Lois's sister, okay? He had Lucy Lane.
Outside of this?
All right, Supergirl was feeding for him for a little bit.
No, but I'm talking about outside of Supergirl. Like the normal version of Jimmy Olsen.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, Supergirl has liked him in the comics too. Come on.
Okay, maybe you got me there. I haven't really read too many Supergirl comics.
Don't hate. They sort of had a little mini thing. You know, don't hate. Jimmy Olsen out here putting in work. I mean, listen. He's got 3 beautiful women that have come to him in 3 seasons. You can't hate on that, sir. You got to congratulate where you got to congratulate.
Give him props for that.
Gotta give him props.
Hashtag I mean, not my Jimmy Olsen.
It's James Olsen. You have to remember, it's James Olsen. My number 5 this week actually also comes from Supergirl, and that is the actress, not the character, but the actress, Melissa Benoist. And that is because when she was portraying Martian Manhunter trying to be Supergirl or trying to be Kara Danvers, I thought that was actually like hilarious and super spot on. Like I thought that's exactly how like Martian Manhunter would pretend to be her, and I thought that was well done. and I thought it was really funny. And
It was.
I mean, the Arrowverse today I feel like this week has sort of been light on laughs, but that I actually got a solid laugh. Like when she sat down, she had her legs spread wide, and she was like, "Yeah," it was just it was on point. It looked hilarious. So that's my number 5, man. DeepBoyce on to number 4.
Number 4 is kind of piggybacking off of what you just said.
Okay,
and it's actually the character of Martian Manhunter because
of
the BS that they put him through, episode in and episode out. My man, they had him camouflaged as Supergirl. Over here talking about Jimmy Olsen and his luscious lips. And I'm like, come on. One of the most powerful characters in DC Comics, who is, by the way, apparently making a return in DC Comics proper. And it's a big deal for a reason. And they got him a goddamn fool in this Supergirl show. I'm going to give it props to Martian Manhunter, any and all versions. Anytime he gets any type of disrespect like this. This is ridiculous. I literally got chest pains thinking about how badly they treat Martian Manhunter in Arrowverse DeepBoyce. It is despicable, bro. It is unbelievable, they got
bro.
Martian Manhunter.
Incomprehensible.
They got Martian Manhunter like that person in a group project when you're looking around for ideas and you look at him or her and they just look right back at you. Like, I'm sorry, but I ain't got no ideas right now. Just give you just that blank stare. Hey, Martian Manhunter, we got to go together and fight Rain. About that.
I don't like our chances without Supergirl, even though I'm a telepath with super strength and I can phase through things. And I'm like, bro, get it together. All right? You can do this. Superman is afraid of you for a reason. Come on. Get it together, sir. No, yeah, you got backup. Okay? You got backup. We're going to talk about some of that backup later on for sure. I know I got something to say about some of that backup that he had this week. DeepBoyce, my number 4. And also, I'm not only just awarding this person number 4 in my power rankings this week, I'm also awarding this person the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. And that is Maralise DeVoe. All right? Playing it up in court with the crocodile Dundee tears, man. She was out here in court straight up crying over her husband and making the Flash look like making Barry Allen look like some sort of criminal, man.
Yeah.
Playing it up hard. I was like, Maralise DeVoe out here acting. And as soon as she walked out of that courtroom and was talking to Iris, she was like, and what? She was like, step to me. She was like, say it. Say what you got to say, Iris. Yeah. I was like, yo, Maralise DeVoe holding it down. Although I will say, to a certain extent, you could argue that her crying was partly some of that real emotion that she may have inside, because she hasn't, you could tell she's not necessarily down with the changes that Clifford DaVoe has taken, particularly taking over that young dude's body. You could tell she's sort of not down with that. So in
what way?
I mean, listen, last time when it was kissing, she was like, oh, yeah, like she was going, all right, she was with it. But this week she seemingly expressed some reservations, and it was interesting to see her sort of emotional about it not really being her husband physically. Yeah. That being said, like, side note, I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
Like, how does the Thinker actually still have his super thinking abilities? Because I thought it was his body that actually became, like, when he became a metahuman and sort of got that, let's call it a supercharged brain, wasn't that sort of attached to his body? So, like, when he uploaded his consciousness into this new body, get the name of the guy, but this guy who has this telepathic ability, how does his, like, super elite intelligence transfer over to his body as well?
I wish I had an answer for that. But
because to a certain extent, intelligence is like, your soul or consciousness, yes. Mm-hmm. But it also has to do, it's biological as well. You know what I mean? Like, typically speaking, people who are more intelligent tend to have, like, more, I think, gray matter on their brain, right? I mean, I know I'm thinking too much into this, but, like, I definitely had a moment where I was like, wait, how are you still, like, the Thinker? Like, you should just be a telepath now, because,
well, it could be either what you said, where it's tied to his physiology, where it affected his brain, his actual brain, or maybe it's something else that maybe it's the soul or the essence or the personality or something. I don't know how they're gonna explain that. They're probably not, but maybe there's an explanation there. But I don't think they've explained it, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and by all means, if anybody who's watching this right now has any commentary on that, feel free to write in the comments below or in the chat right now if you're watching live stream. Because I genuinely had a question about that. I was like, I don't entirely know the answer, and I'm not sure if it was explained.
Yeah,
I was like, I feel like that's a decent question to ask, or something that definitely could have used a little exposition. That being said, I missed the old actor that played Clifford DaVoe. Not really feeling this guy. I feel like he doesn't bring the gravitas and also sort of the arrogance and charm of the original guy playing the thing, the original actor playing the Thinker. So I hope he makes a return. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, and it's kind of treading the same water of having a villain, kind of switching bodies, looking different, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. Because Harrison Wells did that in season 1. Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't think of that. That's true. DeepBoyce, number 3. You got us number 3.
Number 3 on my list is actually Ralph Dibny.
Oh, that's my number 3 as well.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah, read the minds.
Ralph Dibny. I mean, aside from, again, him being one of the better characters on the show, just multifaceted in this episode. He showed growth from what we saw in previous episodes. Joe West getting real desperate, about to plant some evidence in order to help out Barry Allen, because everybody knew the writing was on the wall. Barry Allen was going to jail. He's going to do something that is extremely out of character, doing wrong for the purposes of good. And Ralph Dibny, I mean, not only did he, I guess, give him like a comic book type of monologue, but it was like a very well put together monologue. Like it was, I was like, this is some sound logic right here. Like this has resonated with me personally. And usually I kind of give these shows a benefit of doubt because they could be a little on the corny side with the writing. Sure. But with that, I was like, wow, that was some good life advice right there. Just in general, outside of this.
That scene was great for a number of reasons, including the ones that you mentioned. But it was also great because, remember, like, Joe West, like, Barry Allen is his son, right? That is, for all intents and purposes, his son. So he doesn't want to see him go to prison, obviously. But also remember, Henry Allen, Barry Allen's father, was Joe West's best friend. Yeah. So, like, in a way, he sees history repeating itself. And he couldn't help Henry Allen in a situation he was in. But this time, like, he can. So it was interesting to see him sort of struggle with the power he has to change things. Now, Ralph Dibny coming in there and sort of being the voice of reason, and I love the way he sort of like eased into what he was saying to Joe West. He was like, "Yeah, sure, I can do that for you," and the way he kind of like started that monologue. At first, you were like, "What is he saying?" And then as it went into it, you realized how he was talking about himself. Yeah. And you could sort of see in his face, he was just like, he's expressed sadness before about the way he lived his life and the choices he made. And to a certain extent, he's also pointed blame at other people. But I think this is the first time he took like 100% accountability himself for what he did. Yeah. And, which was planting evidence to frame somebody, just like Joe West, or not to frame somebody, but to help catch someone who was actually guilty, someone he knew was guilty. So I thought it was great. I've been loving Ralph Dibny, to be honest with you.
And also another key thing, I don't know if you guys remember from like season 1, when Barry was the only one that thought Henry Allen was innocent. Even Joe was saying like, "Listen, you got to get over this. He's guilty. This lightning or whatever you saw, it's you trying to rationalize this as a child. Forget it." And obviously, I'm sure that's also possibly weighing on Joe West's conscience now when he is like in Barry's position in season 1. When he knows Barry Allen is innocent, but everything points against that fact. So
absolutely. I thought it was great, and like not for nothing, but a lot of people are sort of mourning Kid Flash, not being sort of featured on the Flashlight. It's also been confirmed that he's going to appear on a stint on Legends tomorrow when Stab returns, so he'll definitely be on a stint of episodes there. But I feel like Ralph Dibny as a character is already like a better character than Wally West has been. I was older because unfortunately they started out with a good build for Wally, but they wasted it, and they didn't elaborate on it. They didn't expand on it, and I hope they don't do that with Ralph Dibny. Second thing I want to say is Dr. Strangelove in the comment section just now. He asked about Ralph Dibny's new suit that they're gonna show off in the next episode. Listen, I wait till it's in motion, but from the pictures I saw, not really feeling it. Like the CW, I like some of their costumes, but I feel as if like the jacket, the zip up jacket costume has been done. Like he looks like he's wearing a varsity jacket, a stylized varsity jacket, and like I'm just like, no. Like we just need something. We need a different aesthetic for these costumes. I'm a little tired of it. You know, you see the promo images for shows like Titans. You know, the costume, the upper body at least, because we haven't seen the lower body that they put together for Robin. The costume they did for Hawk and Dove. I'm like, I want to see some ingenuity taken. It's just a jacket. He looks like Firestorm, like Robbie Raymond Firestorm. So yeah.
I mean, I
don't know if you want to comment on that, DeepBoyce, but I'm not.
I mean, I agree. It's a little tough though. If you just look at what elongated men has usually worn in the comics, I'm not really sure which direction they could go. Yeah. Because it looks like he's just wearing a onesie, like pajamas or something. That's what it looks like to me in the comics. I don't know how they can translate that, or maybe I don't know. They should probably just do something totally different. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it's better than that, you know, that big ass resistance band he was wearing before. Like, I get it. You know, people saying he looked like a sock. Yeah, I understand. It's better, but like to me, I'm not gonna like just settle just because it's a step up from something before. That first suit was meant to be like a joke. It was meant to be funny. Yeah. You know, but if this is his serious suit, not feeling it. DeepBoyce.
Yes.
On to number 2.
Number 2. It's actually Brother Man Supreme, aka Black Lightning. Walking around.
Woo!
Kidney shots, heart punches, Superman punches, taking out the 100 gang, lighting them up in sparks. Yeah. You know, it's the pilot episode. I can't really say much about the show overall. You know, hopefully it'll be as good as we want it to be. But I think Cress Williams as the lead, I liked what he did. I liked his acting. I like how they kind of set him up and everything. You know, it's a little rough around the edges here and there, but I was satisfied. They gave us, you know, a look to his earlier costume, kind of an homage to the original Black Lightning costume in the comics. You get him actually kind of get suited up right away. It's not like you don't spend all this time with an origin story. You get right into the action. And he's, I don't know if he's non-lethal, but he's out there. I guess if people die, then people die, as long as he needs to do what he needs to do. And I don't know, I guess he was going about it and fighting in a way that to me logically made sense. Like it's gonna get messy. It's gonna be messy. Some people some bad guys may be taken out, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta save your daughters. That's pretty much what he did in the episode. He just was saving his daughters. But whenever he's got to save some people, if he's got to knock some people, you know, from the roof of a building, or he's got to knock them into traffic, or he's got to just incapacitate Batman style, that's what it is. It was very Batman-like, the way he was going about beating people up in that episode.
It was. I don't want to comment too much on it, but not yet, at least. But it was like. It was Ben Affleck Batman type stuff. Cause there was some human shields out there.
Yeah.
There was a man who was, bro, he was catching bullets like it was, bro, my man was eating that bullet like he hadn't, like his body was eating those bullets like he hadn't had any meals his whole life. He's like, I gotta eat something. My man's body soaked up all of them bullets, man. He used them as a human shield. I was like, yo, Black Lightning out here. A criminal. I was like, damn, shocked the boy in his chest and dropped him through his own car. I was like, damn, Black Lightning, about to kill somebody with all this. But like I said, I'm gonna comment on that in a second.
All right.
But I agree with a lot of what you said.
All right.
My number 2 this week,
yes,
is Olivier Queen. Okay, Green Arrow, man.
The Batman.
The bad man, as William would call him. William Dance Moves Queen.
God.
We're going to call him William Twinkle Toes Queen, everybody. I'm never going to let those down. My man was like, there was things going on with his body. I'm not going to let that go. But Oliver Queen this week, I mean, for starters, taking on the whole squad, like the whole villain squad. Cayden James, Vigilante, Richard Dragon. listen, Richard Dragon, they need to build him up a little bit more. I'm sorry. Because right now, he's the only weak link of that group.
Yeah.
Right? Because you got Anatoly, you also got
Vigilante.
Yes. You got Vigilante, I said, and what's her name?
Black Canary.
Not Black Canary.
Black Siren.
Black Siren, thank you.
Yeah.
And really, Richard Dragon is the only one out of that group who actually hasn't had a build.
True.
And I'm like, they got a great actor playing Richard Dragon. I'm like, we need some focus on him in this equation because every one of those other villains has gotten a build except for him. And don't get me wrong, like he sort of has the badass thing down pat, but I need something more from him. Oliver Queen taking it to all of them. I mean, he definitely got his ass beat, which I liked about that whole thing. But also like the fact that Oliver Queen was taking responsibility for what happened to the team. He was straight up. He was like, listen, violated your trust. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. But y'all all messed up. He's like, y'all all messed up. And to me, I'm like, listen, yeah, he violated your trust, and that's real. That's crazy. Yeah. But at the same time, this man let you guys into his cause. Now, with the exception of Dinah, like he went and recruited her, so that's a little different. But with Mr. Terrific and Wild Dog, he brought you in.
Yeah.
So for me, if I'm bringing some new people in, you're damn well sure I'm gonna monitor you, especially when I had somebody, betray me before. Now they're like, we earned our trust. I'm like, sure, but we're out here leaking information right now. I'm sorry, but I gotta look. So, but I like him taking responsibility for it because it was wrong. I understand where he's coming from, but it was wrong. And I just like Oliver Queen's arc this episode. Pretty solid from him.
Agreed. I mean, that kind of rolls right into my number one, which is also Oliver Queen. Right. Just the fact that he went out there. I just really like that he was no nonsense in this episode. Yeah. He was like, you get in the corner. You're on timeout. You shut your mouth. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to just go face to face with all these guys and gals. And he came out living. I mean, I expected him to either get captured and Teen Arrow would have to save him or to him to really kind of get his ass whooped.
I thought he was going to get his ass beat.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get his ass handed to him. Man.
I thought he was going to get the work. But, he kind of lost, but he was able to escape. And I kind of appreciate that he's not out there either getting destroyed or destroying other people. He's just kind of strategically just like, I'm going to just, death by 1,000 cuts on these guys. I'm going to come in, do what I got to do, and I'm going to get out as soon as I get an opportunity.
Also he had contingency plans. He was on his Batman grind with his contingency plans too.
Yeah. And wasn't the best Arrow episode, but I kind of like that. I'm not sure where this is going. It seems like the team kind of splintered, but even though they splintered, the original Team Arrow is still doing all right. And I'm not really sure what Oliver's up to. I'm not sure what the bad guys are up to, but everybody seems to be on top of their ish, so to speak. Yeah. Everybody seems like they got a plan, like they know what they want to do. There's no second guessing. There's none of this is of like, I feel guilty about that or this. It's like, no. We're about to get down right now. Enough of this nonsense with Cayden James. I'm going to have to bust some ass. It's been half a season. He's been playing games with me. He came into my home and was snooping on me. No, I'm not having that. So, Oliver Queen number one.
When I look at that Splinter team that they're forming with Black Canary, Mr. Terrific, and Wild Dog, to be honest with you, like, Black Canary could lead up her own squad. You know what I'm saying? Comic book wise, I feel like she could lead up her own squad.
Yeah.
And, Mr. Terrific, and at least in the comics, definitely has the intelligence to be the brain power of the squad. And Wild Dog, I guess he's just, the brawn, I guess. He's with in terms of bullets.
Yeah.
So I'm actually interested to see where that team could go, and I hope they sort of let them step into their own or come into their own as they have them operating as that Splinter team. Because I feel like those characters, Mr. Terrific, definitely needs some growth in terms of the brain power department. He's definitely smart, definitely coming up with great inventions, but I'd like to see it evolve into like strategy. And Black Canary, she's sort of been a voice of reason for a while, since her, pretty much since the season started, and I'd love to see that role evolve. That being said, my number one this week, DeepBoyce,
yes,
is Black Lightning. Everybody, Black Light, and I'll say this, as you said, a little rough on the edges at times, in terms of the season premiere, but Cress Williams is a fantastic cast as Black Lightning. I loved his power set. I loved the way he exhibited his moves. I love how when he punched people, they were like lightning punches.
Yeah.
I'm still sort of getting used to the costume a little bit. So you know, some people are wondering about the lights in the costume. There's actually a purpose for it more than just aesthetic. So when you see, you know how it's like sort of like a yellow tint and a blue tint for the, you know, the lightning symbols on his chest. So when the lighting on that is like more blue, it means that he's actually charged up. And I guess we'll see it as the season progresses. When the lights on his suit are, I guess, more yellow, like predominantly yellow, he's actually less endowed with electrical strength. So they're going to use that as a way to show him, you know, being weak or vulnerable as the season progresses. So that's sort of, you know, the reasoning for that. That being said, I love the shout out to his old suit, and I wish they showed more of that because I actually thought his old suit looked pretty cool from the glimpses I saw. I actually kind of want to see it a little bit more. But other than that, I just love, I mean, dude was out here hurting people, dude. Like, I was like I haven't felt that way about the intro for a character since I saw season 1 of Arrow, when like Arrow, like Green Arrow or Arrow at the time, the Arrow, the Vigilante, the Hood, whatever he was calling himself, he was hurting people bad, and I was like, yo, this is kind of sick. I appreciated the fact that Black Lightning was doing that, and I also appreciated the fact that, you know, he's known. They introduced the idea that he is a criminal. He is someone who has been hunted by the police. So I like the fact that, you know, because me, I'm just like, oh, you know, all right, typical vigilante being hunted by the police. All right, some guy who's in a mask, they don't like it, so they're hunting him down. Comic book 101, right? But then I saw what he was doing, and I'm like, I see why they were hunting you down, my man. Because y'all here whooping some candy ass. Y'all here going a little hard. Like, using that man as a human shield, I was like, yo, Black Lightning? That's a human? There's no due process with that. You know what I mean? But I like the introduction of the show. I feel some people expressing some, you know, some distaste for the daughters being a little too much. One of them is a teenager. Teenagers act up. And, like, to be honest with you, personally, like, I know teenagers just like that. You know, his teenage daughter, Anissa.
I'll be honest with you, they seem kind of regular in that sense. I agree. I've met people like that. Yeah. I mean, I think what's weird, at least for me, was obviously it's a CW show, so they can't use all the vocabulary that they want to. They did call out. There were a lot of bitches thrown in this episode, which I don't remember the last time I heard, just in a TV show in general.
Yeah, a number of those were actually people Black Lightning threw, because he threw them like there was some little biatch. I keep it a buck 50. Keep it a buck 50. But you know, as for I believe his other daughter's name is Nafisa or Nafisa, right? Nafisa?
Let me check right here.
Anissa. That's the real name of Anissa Pierce. The actress who plays her, Jennifer. Yeah. Pierce. Jennifer's the younger daughter. I'm sorry. Anissa's the older daughter. I confused that. So Jennifer acting like she was acting totally. She's a teenager. Anissa acting like she was acting. To be honest with you, there's a lot of people with what's going on, you know, in the socio-political culture that we have right now, that speak the way she speaks. And I felt that is a real point of view that some people have. And likewise, Jennifer calling her Harriet Tubman and making fun of her, that is something that people from the other side, or some people who don't necessarily agree with that line of thought, will sometimes, you know, use as a way to sort of bring that other person down. I mean, like, I feel like these are dynamics that we see in real life, and I think, why is that wrong?
I mean, I heard that this back when I was in elementary school, to be quite honest with you, the whole Harriet Tubman thing. We were calling each other Harriet Tubman or Frederick Douglass. I heard that back in elementary school, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's them. I think it's what they're trying to hit you with. Like you were talking earlier before we got on live. It's a little too much cream on top of this cake. Like, you gotta get a little bit of icing off of it, and you got a 23 episodes. Well, not even 23 episodes. But you got enough episodes to kind of, you know, put that message forward, but in a more subtle way, in a more, you know, a less obvious way than they did with this pilot.
You also have to remember with pilot shows, pilots tend to sprinkle in everything they plan to introduce in the show because they need to give you an idea of what the general show is going to be like. So like looking at the pilot and saying, oh, it's a little too much. And that's something I kind of felt like they're trying to hit you hard and heavy with what they would like to tackle throughout the whole season. Like the pilot in a way is sort of like a synopsis for the whole season. It's sort of setting the tone. So like when you see a pilot episode, you're like, ah, this was a little too much. It's because they try to jam in every idea they have for the season and put it out there. You know, like I remember at the beginning of Arrow, Oliver Queen would do these monologues where he's like, oh, you know, sometimes you think life is hard and then you come back from the dead after being dead for 5 years and life is harder than you thought. And you know, like he can't, and for the first like 3 episodes or so, people were like, what the hell is this monologue about? And then it got dropped because in the pilot, it was introduced as a way to sort of express what the main character was thinking, but they toned it down to the point where it was eliminated outright as the show went on. It happens all the time.
And I could be wrong. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's just nature of pilots. And I remember hearing this a long time ago, but I think when they make shows, usually they make the pilot first, and then it's presented to the like the producers or whoever works at the station, and then they basically see the pilot to get an idea of what the rest of the season is going to be, and then they go forward with the rest of the season. That may not entirely be the case. Like it's still in practice the same, but I think when they greenlit these shows already at this point with the Arrowverse, they just say, okay, well, this is the idea, this is the market research, people are going to respond, so we're just going to do all of them. But generally, the pilot is like, because there are plenty of, so many shows that they make pilots, and they might even be on TV, and then that's it. You don't see the rest of it because it gets canceled.
Right.
Because they don't get that initial good reaction or reception. So.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to tackle is, you know, I see a lot of people in the chat right now talking about, you know, Luke Cage, this being like Luke Cage DC. My opinion is this. Obviously, it's influenced by Luke Cage. But if you have seen anything that the Akil duo, Salim Akil and Mara Akil do, Mara Brock Akil do, this is very much in the vein of how they do things. I mean, if you ever seen The Game, if you ever seen Girlfriends from back in the day, this is sort of the nature of how they tackle at least serious issues. Obviously, Girlfriends was a comedy. The Game was somewhat of a comedy too, until it became a little bit more of a drama. But this is sort of how they do things. Obviously, Black Lightning is influenced by Luke Cage. But we have to be careful about getting shows like Luke Cage and then just saying, oh, or getting shows like Black Lightning and just saying, oh, this is DC's Luke Cage. Because, like, we don't get many characters like Luke Cage and Black Lightning stepping into the forefront. We don't get these characters having a chance to have their own shows. And by doing that, by saying, oh, this is Luke Cage DC, it minimizes what they're trying to do with Black Lightning. Like, yes, it's 2 black actors, 2 black superhero movies, but I don't, you know, go and watch Captain America and say, oh, DC Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to sort of respect what these people are trying to do. If the quality of the content is good, which I feel it is. I feel like it's good enough in its own right for me not to sit here and be like, oh, Luke Cage with electricity powers. Like, I just feel like it's sort of demeaning to what they're trying to do. And I feel like it's demeaning to the characters, especially like. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm saying this as a black man who, you know, when I look at these shows, when I look at these characters, when I look at these movies, these TV shows, I don't see a lot of people who look like me. I don't see that that representation. Some people get upset when they hear the D word, diversity, but the bottom line is, if I'm gonna get to see black superheroes, if I'm gonna get to see superheroes of color, I'm gonna get superheroes of various sexualities, various orientations, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a shot without demeaning it. I'm gonna give it a shot because at the end of the day, our voice, the fans' voices, what we say and how we speak about these shows, that's gonna affect how people receive these shows, and that's also gonna affect how much of a chance these shows get. So all I'm saying to you guys out there is give the show a chance. Give the show a chance, and it's all right to draw comparisons to Luke Cage. I'm not saying, you know, don't draw those comparisons, but give the character a chance to earn the respect that it can earn if the quality of the show is actually good. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like the Luke Cage comparisons are sort of used as like DC's copying Marvel and Luke Cage, and I'm like, it's one thing to compare it as a means of respect. It's another way to compare it as a means of being disrespectful. So I'm just saying, be careful of that out there. I'm not accusing anybody. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and kind of piggybacking off of that, it'll be interesting to see where, you know, the opinion, I mean, I guess particularly from the black community or black nerds or whatever you want to have it, with regards to the show as it goes along, and how they kind of accept or look at or their feelings on the subject matter. Because, I mean, you made the comparison of Luke Cage and Black Lightning, but I think there are some similarities in terms of the nature of the show and some of the things they do talk about. And you
Absolutely.
know, I definitely, it's not a good idea to kind of examine those two in a detrimental manner, basically just because, oh, well, this is one black show from Marvel, this is one black show from DC, and they both deal with some, I guess, social issues.
And they both sort of portray the black community in ways that, you know, are somewhat in parallel to real life. But because we don't see those communities portrayed, the minute we see one show comparing or being similar to another show, we're like, oh, this is a carbon copy of the other one. But it's like, you know, I don't see Mission Impossible and James Bond and say, oh, another white guy, you know, fighting crime internationally. You know, like we sort of have to be careful with this, because I feel like because we're not used to seeing these things, we automatically paint it in broad strokes, and that just amounts to generalizations. And generalizations always lead to misunderstanding, and they always lead to people sort of shortchanging the point that's trying to be made. That's the point that I'm trying to make in saying that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I personally, I want to see what is what is the space that this show wants to fill? Like, what is it that it wants to say that hasn't necessarily been said? Because, I mean, I've seen a couple of shows, whether superhero shows or not, kind of deal with these topics. I want to see how this kind of fits into the CW shows, as well as, you know, what's the identity that this show kind of fills in. I mean, aside from the fact that this could be a cool opportunity to take this character of Black Lightning, a character that, I mean, quite frankly, I haven't ever thought about or talked about. I don't think people talk about in general, much less like a Luke Cage or you know, Falcon, War Machine, or other black superheroes. This is probably an opportunity for this character to kind of, you know, get its time to be something, to do something a little different. And it'll be very interesting to see how this show kind of navigates the things that it's trying to present and talk about. It's a little too early to say, but we'll see as we go along. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, it is also a superhero show. Listen, corrupt cops, that's nothing new. Corrupt city officials, that's nothing new in the superhero genre. Gangs, family, like all these kinds of things aren't exactly that new in the superhero genre.
Sneaking out and going to dangerous club that she shouldn't. Totally not new.
Yeah. So
it's just the only thing they did was insert, you know, sort of, you know, things that are sort of known to, I guess, the American black community.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. We got to be careful with throwing these broad strokes in there. And you know, I want to stop and take time to say that, because, like, I know people are gonna say, like, they're hitting some of these points a little too hard. I personally felt that, you know, but sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable with something. Sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to sort of understand something, to get a greater understanding of something. And for me, I'm like, yeah, it's a little hot and heavy sometimes, and sometimes I don't necessarily want to see that stuff. But comics have always done that. Comics have always taken from what's going on in the socio-political, cultural atmosphere. And, like, they've been doing that since the beginning. So seeing it in live action, it's a little bit more striking because it's human beings portraying this, and we see it. It's more graphic in a sense, in a way, than the comic books. But give it a shot, give it a chance. I'm gonna give it a chance, but you'll be the first one. We'll be the first ones to call out some bum asses when we see some bum asses. Make no mistake, the spectacular spoiling does not hold back when we see some bum assery. That being said, DeepBoyce, top 3 bum asses of the week. Number 3, DeepBoyce, who you got?
Number 3 is Fallout. He was the villain of the week.
That's my number 3 too.
For the Flash. I mean, I guess we could just kind of
Neil Borman.
Yeah, we could just kind of sound off and share this entry. I mean, he was I don't know, just stupid. That's probably the only word that comes to mind when I think of my man just walking around and he's like, "What's wrong, guys? Everything all right?" And this guy's like glowing green, people passing out. It's like, so what? People getting radiation poisoning? Like this is Fallout or something? Well, the game, I mean.
Fallout the game, yeah.
and then it's just, I know he wasn't the focus of the episode, but then at the end, this guy is going to become a worldwide threat. I'm like, yo, you go from this guy is people passing out in the bus station, the bus stop, or in the bank, to this guy is gonna bring about nuclear holocaust for the rest of the world. What's going on here?
Let me tell y'all something, man. I know it's comic books, man, but like nuclear poisoning is not a game. Like these people ain't just gonna pass out and faint and wake up and be alright. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, some
serious stuff right there. But for me, it wasn't so much Neil Borman or Fallout that was the bum ass. It was the CG. I was like, this man is walking around looking like Flubber. I was like, yo, the CG. I'm like, yo, like, not for nothing, the Flash is usually pretty decent at taking a TV budget and making something look good. This man looked like a fool with the green glow they were giving him, man. He looked like if I held a Jolly Rancher candy to like the light, like a green apple Jolly Rancher through a light. Like the green was just so. It looked like how Kryptonite used to glow in Smallville. It just looked so bad. I was like, damn, man, you guys couldn't have made it like green in his veins or something like that. I'm like, and this man is completely oblivious to the fact that he's glowing. Completely oblivious. He doesn't see his hands at some point glowing.
Yeah. He's
driving in a truck. There's a windshield there. He doesn't catch a green glow where he's sitting at. He doesn't see. And it seemed a little bit silly. This man is completely and holistically aloof to the fact that he's glowing. I was like, what? Doesn't get this guy out of here, man. Like, I know they had to have a plot line for the show, and, you know, he's sort of one of those throwaway dark matter dudes, but I was like, no, absolutely not. DeepBoyce, let's move on, man. I was like, yo, Flash, man, you guys have pretty decent TV CG for the most part, but that was garbage. Basura. Okay, trash, everybody. Get that out of here. Bum ass number 3.
Yes.
DeepBoyce, who you got for number 2, man?
Number 2, we're speaking of looking silly, looking dumb as all hell. We're gonna swing on over to Supergirl, and we're gonna give a shout out to my number 2 on this bum ass list, Braniac. I don't know what number it is. It doesn't matter. It's not important. But this guy, both Brainiacs on this show, stupid. It looks stupid. They were whack. I mean, look. I could
talk about Indigo.
Indigo, yes. Who is
other Brainiac character? Because
may or may not be a Brainiac. Yes, may or may not be a Brainiac. I mean, look, I don't want to go too hard on this character because I don't think he's like the worst. He seems somewhat likable in a weird way, but I kept getting flashes, no pun intended, of the Justice League movie Flash. Am I wrong in thinking this? The way he was talking, and the way he was expressing himself seemed exactly like Ezra Miller's Flash in the Justice League movie, and that just extra bothered me as I was watching it. Aside from the fact that he looks dumb, he looks whack.
I would love to comment on this, however, due to me jumping the gun on my bum ass list, I cannot, and I will just laugh, and I'll say my number 2, so that I can get to my number 1, because I'd very much like to get to my number 1 after your number 1.
All right.
My number 2 is Wild Dog. All right, and this is, I'm sorry, Wild Dog.
It sucks. I can't defend the guy anymore, but
this is not a CG problem. This is not a writing problem. This is me having a problem with. I guess it's sort of a writing problem. Wild Dog. Let me holler at you real quick. You over here saying,
"What up, Hoss?
You did this for your daughter." Yeah, let me talk to you, Hoss. You got that one. You over here, I did this for my daughter. I sold out I risked the lives of all these other people till I could see my daughter again. My man, you had a chance to see your daughter at the end of season 5 again, and you didn't think you were good enough. You threw it away, and now you want to backtrack on that, and in the process, risk everyone else's lives, risk everyone else's well-being. You're a bum ass for that.
Got him.
That's cold.
Got
That's cold-blooded, bro. That is like extra cold-blooded, bro. Extra cold-blooded, man. These people have watched your back. These people have made sure that you didn't go out in the field and die because you were a terrible, vigilante. Like, and that's how you treat them? I can't rock with that. I just feel like that was some traitorous stuff, man.
It's well
you
deserved.
gotta have some sense of loyalty, man. That's extra.
It's well deserved.
That's extra. Like he's like, oh, this for my daughter. This for my daughter. I mean, you had a chance. It's not like this is the first opportunity. It's not like she was like, yo, like, it's not like the FBI detective was like, yo, I'll take away this chance and, I'll take it away forever. You walked away from her once before. Like, now you want to backtrack on that. You're a bum ass because you're over here risking everybody's lives for that reason.
And he's got some bum ass reasoning. Like, they confronted me. He's like, I did what I did. I did what I did, Hoss. That's what
I did what I had to do, Hoss.
And it's like, damn, haven't you met some New York dudes like that before? It's like, yo, why you slap that pizza out that dude's hand? Well, I did what I did. Stop no, right. What's wrong with you?
That's a lot of.
I gotta be gully. I gotta do what I do. Like, man,
there's New York cats that really don't be taking responsibility for their actions, bro. They number one, DeepBoyce. Who you got for number one bum asses? We're moving on.
This is why corporations don't hire us. Because of dumbasses like that. Ruin it for the rest of us.
What you got for number one, man?
Number one is we're going over to Black Lightning, and it's got to be your boy Will. He doesn't have a last name. I tried to look him up, but it's Will. You guys know what I'm talking about. The guy that was trying to get it on with Jennifer, got played, got kneed in the nuts by Jennifer, got slapped up, got beat up by Black Lightning, went to the school with a gat, got taken out by the sister. He was getting played left and right in this episode.
But got pistol whipped by a dude named Lala. My man is named after Teletubby, everybody. My man got the same name as Carmelo Anthony's wife, everybody. My man got the same name as notes in a song, everybody. La 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 la. What is this, man? He got his ass beat by all of them. You're right for that. I missed that one, DeepBoyce. You're right. You're right. Should have been on my list. You're right.
And he was mad disrespectful.
Mad disrespectful, man.
No.
I was like, boy, you better go somewhere. He was getting disrespected left and right. All right, straight up. That's perfect choice for number one. DeepBoyce.
Yes.
It's time for my number one.
Uh-oh.
My number one is none other than Braniac 5, everybody. This man looked like one of the Guardians from the Green Lanterns, man. What were they thinking? Like, I kept looking at him thinking, like, and he reminded me of Doc Brown from Back to the Future. Like, what is going on with this guy? What were they thinking with that? Like, why? Like, what? He looks bad. Like, he looks like the makeup for this dude looks atrocious.
And then it doesn't get any better when they like zoom, like when you get closer to him, the camera gets. I'm like, what is this? I don't know if it's detailing. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it looks like it's like fading. Like you can see his actual.
They gave him like purple or some dark hued highlights on his face. It looks atrocious.
Awful. What is that wig?
That dude, it looks like he like walked into a microwave and they just microwaved him and his hair just like frizzed out. Like he looks like he's been in some like crazy humidity. I mean, it was bad. And for those of you who are like, take it easy on the makeup people, I'm like, yeah, I respect that. What they got to do. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for how to paint a blue person right, y'all need to head over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the current season that's going on right now. They got a bunch of Kree, and all of their makeup is well done. To the point where they purposely zoom in on people's faces to show you how well done that blue makeup is. Extremely well done.
Not only that, but you can even tell they're different hues and skin colors to those Kree.
Yes.
They're not all just like one shade of blue.
Yes. Now, to be fair, Indigo had a different shade of blue.
To be fair, she was a bum ass as well. And I'm going to lump her in with your number one pick. Because that was also god-awful. Because not only was her makeup terrible, but I don't know what they did with her suit. I don't know where she started or ended. I don't know what was going on with that.
She was looking bad, bro. She was looking horrendous, my man. It was not a good look. And Braniac, listen, anybody can come here and defend him. I honestly think I sort of disagreed with your personality take on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I totally see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was alright.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine. I thought he played up the awkwardness that Braniac 5 definitely has.
He's likable. He is likable.
Yeah.
He's not the worst.
I feel like he had that, like, I'm a really intelligent guy who talks too much thing. And that's what they were going for Barry Allen in Justice League. I didn't like it because he just seemed so skittish. Mm-hmm. I was just like, all right, this is not like fast talking Flash that we've seen in like other animated portrayals, in particular, where he's talking fast and it's funny. I'm like, this isn't that funny. It seems forced.
But even then, I mean, the first Flash that I can think of, or the first one that comes to mind when I think of like a fast talking, like I guess ADHD quote unquote Flash, is Bart Allen, like the future Impulse Flash.
Sure.
Like
Young Justice especially.
Yeah, he's like very skittish and it works for that character. I mean, the other Flashes are quick-witted, like Wally from the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited is quick-witted. But he has his own distinct personality.
Yeah. Also, the Flash from the Batman, not Batman the animated series, the animated series that was called the Batman.
Yeah,
the
that
Flash
was like in later seasons, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He was sort of the same way, but Brainiac 5, man. That hair, brother. Wow. And the lights on his forehead, bro. I was like, no. I was like, I know it's a shout out, but why they got it? They don't need to be that big, man. I was not feeling that look at all. At all. And they said, yes, his look will change. And I'm looking forward to that. Because right now, it's trash, everybody. Sorry. Yeah. One's got to go, DeepBoyce. One's got to go for the week. It's the one that's got to go for you this week, man. What's the one that, let's just put it simply. What is our one's got to go this week? What's the one that we inevitably are going to pick this week? Go ahead. Let's say it.
This show, they got to take what they did with Mon-El at the end of the last season of Supergirl, put this show in a capsule and set it out into some wormhole somewhere. Supergirl, listen, we've been talking about this for more than a year. We've tried. People can't say we don't give these shows a chance. We've been defending Supergirl since it started because people were hating on it from the beginning, and we're just trying to squeeze out any goodness we can that we could say to defend Supergirl, but it's getting to me. I don't know. I can't. This last episode was wiggity with a capital W. You know the Westin hotels, that big ass W? That signifies. It's not a win. It's a wiggity. Wiggity Superhero. Listen, Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, she's not the worst. But Reign, what is they doing? The Legion, come on, dogs. Braniac, the way he looks, come on, dogs. Martian Manhunter, the treatment they're giving him, come on, dogs. Jimmy Olsen, who gives a damn? Win. I actually liked Win. There's no Win.
Win is marginalized on that show, and he's arguably one of the better things about it. Just like Martian Manhunter.
And then they took away Alex's whatever, anything she had to do, it's like gone. That's it. It's over. She broke her leg, and that was it. That's all we get. I mean,
Win began played though for a minute though, because keep in mind, Lena and Luthor and Supergirl all of a sudden best friends, and Win is on the outs. Like, I remember there was an episode like the other day. I might have mentioned it when we did a stream. Mm-hmm. But Supergirl's like, I've never had a best friend before. I was like, Win? I was like, what's this man got friend zoned and now he's not even the best friend, man? I'm like, come on, man. The show. Here's my thing about Reign. She beat Supergirl's ass in the last episode. She was like, fine, cool. I liked it. I actually thought it was necessary. She made my power rankings, if I'm not mistaken. However, it was done largely in a dark setting, and therefore you didn't see the weaknesses in some of the fighting. Like, get a stunt woman or something for Reign, because I don't believe that she's throwing around these people like that. It just looks silly. Not only that, like, I understand you need to have Supergirl make a comeback, but I felt that they needed to keep the dire, like, stakes with Reign. And I understand they were trying to introduce a weakness to Reign, so they can introduce that, like, Kryptonian acolyte dude who can, you know, help her out and sort of introduce, I think they're going to take some people from Fort Roz you know, roll with her and sort of strengthen her crew. Get it.
Please don't bring back Cyborg Superman, please. Please.
You don't want to. You don't want to see Cyborg Superman. You don't want to see. You don't want to.
What are you doing? I'm killing them. Calls an evil. Why? Because I'm Cyborg Superman.
You don't want to see somebody
dramatic
with
zoom
a
out.
plate. You don't want to see somebody with a paper plate pasted to the side of their face. Cyborg Superman.
I like how they did that better almost 20 years ago. More than 20 years ago in the first Mortal Kombat live action with Kano. That was more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right, because Kano was not bad. I understand it's a movie budget, but I mean, TV has come a long way, everybody. I mean, Supergirl, to me, it's got so many things that could be good, and it chooses to ignore much of it in favor of things that I just can't vibe with. You got the Legion, you got Saturn Girl, you got Mon-El, you got Martian Manhunter. I will say this, the CG on the ship they had, dope. CG on the ship that they had that they were flying around, that was good. But you got these three, and the fight couldn't have been more boring between those three characters and Rain. Couldn't have been more boring.
The best part was when they played Bon Jovi. I was like, oh shit. I like this song. But nah, they cut it off.
It was, you're right about that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you're wasting this. Don't waste it. Yeah. Don't waste all that you got, man. It's just like, damn, man, they just waste all this good stuff, man. I'm just tired of seeing that, man. Yeah. I'm tired of seeing that, man.
Somebody in the chat makes a good point. Like, why is he even Cyborg Superman? And I think it's literally because his name is Hank Henshaw. And Cyborg Superman in the comics is Hank Henshaw. And that's it.
Literally, David Harewood, and you can find this interview. I don't have it. But he actually says, there's an interview in which he says that he finds playing Cyborg Superman boring, and he sort of didn't understand the character.
Yeah.
And even he thought it was a little silly that he's just all of a sudden like, yo, I'm the Cyborg Superman. It's like, why are you Cyborg Superman? That was the word. Like, I'm never going to let that line go away. That was silly.
Listen, I'm not big on Superman in general, but Superman the animated series was great. I really liked that show back in the day. They need to sit down and watch that and just copy that. Just copy that. Just do a live action. We need Supergirl just fighting, just punching, just big strong monsters. Just, come on. This should be like the kaiju of the CW Arrowverse, where they're just like, it's just like big destruction. They're flying around, they're just beating balls to the walls, beating the crap out of each other. Listen, I don't know what they're doing. All this other stuff just like distracting away from anything that could be interesting about a Kryptonian character.
Part of me sort of is annoyed by like them copying too much from Superman, because I feel like Supergirl is a unique character in and of herself. Sure. And they've already pretty much made her Clark Kent, like, in a nutshell. And I don't like that. I feel like that's not. I feel like that sort of belittles the dopeness that could be Supergirl. Mm-hmm. She's a journalist, sort of has the same Clark Kent demeanor. Like, there's a little bit too much going on in this that's too Clark Kent like. And I mean, they even gave her Jimmy Olsen now. You know, she has her own, you know, Luthor person who's a best friend now, but could certainly become an adversary, a la Smallville. It's just, I just feel like it's not living up to its potential. And it honestly has me excited for shows like Krypton on Syfy. And I don't even watch, like, I don't think I've ever really watched any shows on Syfy. I've watched, like, things here and there, but, like, I'm actually looking forward to Krypton, because I'm like, maybe they'll try something new with this Kryptonian lore. Because they'll obviously ground it in the fact that, you know, it takes place on Krypton, so you're definitely going to see some Yellow Sun powers. And I know they're going to do creative ways in which to do that. So I bet your bottom dollar they're going to see some Yellow Sun activity somehow, even though the planet is set, even though the show's set on Krypton. But they'll find ways to do it, trust me. But it's just, Supergirl is just, it's disappointing, and quite frankly, it bores me for the most part. You know, it bores me.
Yeah.
And I continue to watch it because we do it for this DC TV review, and we do it because we see potential there, and there are good elements of it. It's just, it largely seems to go to waste. And don't get me wrong, as its fan base, there are a lot of people who will probably come talk sideways of this for, you know, sort of being detractors. But I think it's pretty clear there's a lot of people that have problems with the show.
Is it better or worse than Gotham? Dun, dun, dun.
To be fair, I stopped watching Gotham in season 2. And to be honest with you, I probably would have stopped watching Supergirl if it wasn't in the Arrowverse. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to be quite clear. I probably would have stopped watching Supergirl if it wasn't in the Arrowverse. But I think I would have given... That's a tough one, man. Because Gotham used to crack me up, even though it was bad. Like, I used to just be laughing at how over the top and silly it got. Supergirl, I don't find myself intrigued by many things in the show, and that's not good. Like, I'm not interested, and that's, you know, and don't say Gotham is way better, because Gotham has its problem a lot. Like I said, I outright stopped watching Gotham.
I mean,
couldn't take it anymore.
Let's be fair. Probably hate on Gotham just a little bit, just a teensy bit. Yeah, a little bit. And it's been a while since I've watched it. I know. When was the season with Fish mooning? Okay.
Coming back?
She died in season 1. Spoilers.
She came back, I think, in season 3.
Okay. I remember seeing season 2 was with the fake Joker.
Proto Joker, yeah. Jerome.
Okay. So I guess I gave it 2 seasons.
He's died. He's come back. It's extra.
I don't know.
There's a lot.
I mean, we feel an extra type of way about Gotham because we're huge Batman fans. To be fair.
Yeah.
We scrutinize a little bit more, and Supergirl's just like... And like you said, I'm on the same boat. I give Supergirl as much of a chance as I do because I kind of included it in everything that we're watching right now. So it's like, well, you know, we're gonna talk about it. So same thing with Legends. I'll put it out there. It's the truth. Same thing with Legends.
Arguably, Legends is a little bit more of a disappointment because they had several characters who got built up in other shows. Sarah Lance, Ray Palmer, Firestorm, both parts of Firestorm, and they squandered a lot of what Legends could have been. The Hawks. I mean, that was like, I mean,
that
at
ruined
the end of
season 1.
Season 1 of The Flash, they had a cameo for Ciara Renee as the future, Hawk Girl. Like, that was the plan for a bit, and they dropped them like a bad habit, bro. You don't even hear them mentioned anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, people saying Gotham has gotten better. I don't listen. I can't. How can I argue with you? I stopped watching it. I can't. I have nothing to say in that regard.
It's tough. I mean, we used to watch it. We used to talk about it, but it's given how things are structured right now, we just kind of don't find the need. We're not even gonna say that it's bad or anything. I mean, we used to not like it that much, but at this point, we're not watching, so we can't comment. But there isn't really any reason for us to kind of sit there and watch it. There's way too much as is for us to watch. For us to kind of also include Gotham. I mean, we're talking about Supergirl, Legend of Tomorrow, Flash, Arrow, Black Lightning. We were watching The Runaways. We were watching The Gifted. We were gonna watch Cloak and Dagger. There's gonna be Titans. It's mad shows. A lot of shows.
Yeah.
So
Krypton's coming up. We're gonna watch Krypton as well. We're currently watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
So,
and the Netflix shows.
Cameron Monaghan is pretty good as a Joker. But did anybody in the chat, and DeepBoyce, I'm gonna pose this question to you. Did you guys know that Hawkgirl used to be a barista before she was a warrior priestess superhero? Anybody? No. She used to be a barista. I'm telling you. You only said it like 96 times.
I'm probably gonna forget, so please remind me next week.
I will. I'll be sure to do that because by a week's time, I'm sure you'll forget. Much like they thought the viewers would forget that she was a barista. DeepBoyce, what's your one that's got to stay this week? Best episode of the week. Pick your show. Any show.
Ooh, this is a tough one. Except for Supergirl. This is a tough one.
I feel like
I'm going to have to go with Arrow on this one. Not necessarily because I thought it was better than Black Lightning, but because Black Lightning, it's a pilot. And I'm kind of... Arrow this season, I've really been enjoying it. This wasn't like the best episode ever, but it was a nice familiar feeling, kind of getting back into the swing of things. You know, we kind of dreaded getting back into watching all of these shows. Just a little bit, but you know, I was looking forward to see what was going on with Arrow. And I'm still interested in that show. It's been a great season. Last season was great. And this season continues to kind of continue that greatness. So I'm gonna give it to Arrow on that one.
Sure. While Black Lightning supremely successful in terms of his debut, you know, the best premiere that CW has had in 2 years. I didn't necessarily. I liked it. I didn't blow my mind, if that makes sense. You know, it didn't. Like, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the next hot thing. I have hope that it could breathe some fresh air into the Arrowverse. But if I'm talking about episode I enjoyed the most, it would probably be Arrow. It'd probably be Arrow. But this week, I could argue that it was a little bit of a weak comeback week. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section in the chat right now.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you.
A little bit weak from the Arrowverse this week. I don't know. I just, you know, the Child of the Flash necessary step, but Fallout. I shudder to think of the thought of seeing a villain that whack again.
And honestly, I mean, Crisis on Earth X we really enjoyed, and then the following week that was the final week, which kind of we were commenting how it ended in a very weak way. And then kind of falling back into this.
Supergirl's ass.
What was that?
Because exception of Rain beating Supergirl's ass.
Oh, true.
That was pretty well done. I gotta say, that was more or less well done. They went hard with that.
But yeah, this was a bit of a weak kind of comeback for all the shows. I guess Black Lightning doesn't count. It's not a comeback. It's a premiere. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah. So someone said something interesting in the chat. I mean, we've been on for a while, but
I mean, this is our comeback week. It's been a while since we've done a week one shot, so enjoy the show.
Aubrey James mentioned, why get invested in the characters in Krypton when we know they are all going to die anyway? I think that makes it even more interesting. Right I mean, we are. Anyway. Why be interested in anything? We are gonna. Right? We all die as well. I mean, everything. We all die. I do think that makes it more interesting. That not seeing where this starts and then seeing how they end this. I mean, obviously, it may end with them. I mean, there may be hints throughout the longevity, you know, throughout the seasons of their show of Krypton's dying. There's gonna be some sort of apocalypse or something, or this planet's gonna blow up. It'll be interesting to see if that's how the show ends. Yeah. I mean, honestly, a lot of these shows end on a positive note. It'll be interesting if Krypton is like, we're all dead. Everything blew up. And here's this little baby. We got to send her off to Earth, and then that's it. It ends. That'll be an interesting end right there.
Aubrey James, you know, first of all, thank you for the question, because it's actually a good question. It's a really good question. You know, obviously I was joking about it, but really and truly, I think you guys, DeepBoyce. I feel like DeepBoyce is a little more of a prequel guy than I am. I'm not necessarily a big fan of prequels. Yeah. Because like you, I think to myself, well, I already know the end anyway. However, when you go far back enough for a prequel, I feel like that's when it becomes sort of interesting. Because you want to know it's about the journey, not the destination. So, Seg-El is Kal-El's grandfather. DC Comics has already confirmed there's going to be time travel elements. Adam Strange is a time traveling character in DC Comics. He's going to appear in the show. He's actually going to be talking about the fate of Kal-El's grandson, or Seg-El's grandson, Kal-El, and things of the like. It also gives you a chance to see the DC universe years before Superman came to be. There are so many things that can be explored in this show. There are Green Lanterns that can pop in the show. Jeff Johns loves Green Lanterns. Like, that guy is working on the show. There could be Thanagarians, like Hawkgirl, Hawkman, like people who have those abilities. There could be many other characters, like there could be references to Apocalypse. There could be references to the New Gods.
We have a rather good video where we kind of talk about all this. We get like a top 10.
Yes. You know, when we post this as a video, we'll pin that in the top comment where you can check out. We talk about all the characters that could appear in Krypton. But we haven't had the chance, and correct me if I'm wrong, DeepBoyce, in terms of live action, I don't think we've really had the chance to see cosmic DC. No. Like, Other than the beginning of Man of Steel.
Listen, we got Steppenwolf.
Now you got me thinking we're all gonna die anyway. Now I'm over here. It's like, yo, I'm never gonna get the 2 hours of my life back watching Justice League, man. I'm out here. I'm tearing up right now just thinking about that. We haven't had a chance to see cosmic DC people. You could also introduce Martians and white Martians. There's like Krypton is a space traveling race.
Yeah.
Kryptonians are a space traveling race.
Isaiah Adams mentioned Lobo, or the Zarnians, which is the race that Lobo comes from.
Yes, yes. I mean, there are a plethora of aliens. They've also said that we're going to see a more comic book accurate version, or at least comic book accurate origin for Doomsday. You know, there's also opportunities to see the origins of Braniac. You know, Braniac traditionally is Kaluan, but a lot of the times he's sort of associated with Kryptonian scientists and Krypton history. So
which always confused me, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it did. It does. It is a little confusing, but I mean, there's so many ways you can go with a story like Krypton. And don't get me wrong, initially, me and DeepBoyce were as skeptical as they come. Because when they first announced Krypton, we were like, Segel? We were like,
yeah.
Segel?
And again, not to sound biased, but we're not always that interested in a Superman. There's a lot of other interesting characters we'd like to see, but the trailers and the teasers that we've seen kind of gets us a little bit more excited for what this is going to be. Because one of the things that I liked a lot about Man of Steel that you just mentioned was the beginning. I liked how they went real sci-fi with that at the beginning of Man of Steel. I was like, wow, they normally don't do this with Superman. I kind of want to see a little bit more of this.
Absolutely. That was one of the better things they did in Man of Steel. I thought it was well done. I mean, another thing, just in terms of like a possible storyline, I mean, there have been storylines in the comics, there have been storylines in multiple portrayals of Superman in which people try to travel back in time to end Superman's bloodline. That's actually been confirmed as a storyline for Krypton. Yeah. There are first of all, Adam Strange is one person. Mm-hmm. Booster Gold is another person who time travels. Any number of superheroes can come back in time. The Legion of Superheroes that we're seeing in Supergirl, they're time travelers who have come to protect Clark Kent in Smallville. I also believe Superman the animated series as well. There was a storyline where that happened.
This is kind of crazy. Maybe they do Superman 3000.
That's possible. Like, what I'm trying to say is the possibilities.
There's a lot of stuff there, yeah.
It's a way to explore the DC universe without having a full-fledged Justice League on TV, which is what we're not going to get to see, anytime soon. The closest thing we're going to get is stuff like Crisis on Earth X. So that's the allure of a show like Krypton, and quite frankly, I'm interested in that alone, just because. But as DeepBoyce says, I'm not particularly enthralled or enamored with Superman. To be honest with you, he's never been one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. But I am interested in DC Comics lore and that getting fleshed out. And I think there's a wonderful opportunity to do that with Krypton, with sci-fi, with people like Jeff Johns, David S. Goyer, who's sometimes hit or miss. Admittedly, he's a little hit or miss, but there's a chance. I mean,
and look,
Daxamite, so many races.
Listen, you guys, check out the video. We actually mentioned a couple of these in the video and a few other ones. I mean, it was a pretty good list. Not to pat ourselves on the back, but
I enjoyed that one, and I would love to talk more about Krypton. If anybody has any questions, if you have any other questions about it, feel free to drop them in the comments section. And I'd love to talk about it. But DeepBoyce, man, I think it's time to bring things to a close for today. Thank you guys for checking out this edition, the return of the Arrowverse or DC TV weekly one shot. We'll be on next Thursday with a live show, as always, after Arrow airs on the East Coast. So roughly sometime after 10 p.m. EST. The best way to know about that is to turn on notifications so you could be up to date with the latest live streams and videos coming out from the spectacular Spoiler League. Also, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because let's be honest, if you've been listening to us for the past hour, you probably like us. You probably want to listen in the future. Do yourself a favor and do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button as well as the like button. Thank everybody for coming out here We always love talking with you guys, and we enjoy your company dearly. DeepBoyce, sayonara. We getting out of here, everybody.
Peace out. Did you know Hot Girl used to be a barista?
What?